Hello, hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of No Particular Reason. We're at episode, let's see, 98.
98. Ooh, you're going to be
Uh,
hitting three figures pretty soon.
yes, yes. And as you might notice, it's me again, and Kerri, it's missing, but she'll be coming back next week. And we have our favorite friend, Gail Kraft, that decided to join us today and talk about anything and nothing in particular, because this is no particular reason.
Well, let me go share this on my Facebook page
All right.
live right now.
Now,
Now, for no
does many
particular
of,
reason.
yes, go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, as many of you know, this show airs every Friday at 9 Central, 8 Eastern, and 7 Pacific time. And we're here to talk to you about anything and everything and chat with you guys. So if any of you feel like they want to ask questions or interrupt or even joining in the live, we'll be more than happy to bring you in. So we expect to see your comments down below, and let's go and see what comes out of this.
Let's see. So, what was it that you said you wanted to talk about when we first hooked up?
Well, I was marinating a lot earlier on in like about ego debt and why letting go. It's so kind of hard to do sometimes because you have all those patterns that are familiar and safe to your ego or to your personality, and a lot of people nowadays go ahead and say, well, just let go. It's so easy, like it's something that and what really is this
Well,
letting
also
go?
told you to let it go. Also
Yeah,
let it
right.
go, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I was like, thinking of before we started the show. But what are your thoughts on that? What do you
Well,
think?
for me, so I'll go on my experience, that I had to first feel the pain enough to want to change who I was presenting to the world. So, first of all, I
Mm,
had to recognize that there was something that I wanted to change. Then I had to face the fear of letting go of the construct of an image that I had made for myself because I had no idea what was behind that, what's next. If I let go of this, then who am I?
right.
Right? Who
Yeah.
am I? Um, and then I had to face the fact that I didn't like who I thought I was anyway. And part of letting go for me was being vulnerable enough to to be vulnerable. I guess is the word, is to let people know this is who I am, right?
Right, because that doesn't feel safe to your identity. It doesn't feel like, oh yeah, this is familiar. I know what's gonna come out of that. That's actually the fear that kicks in from the unfamiliar, like, where am I going? Like you just said it.
Yep. Yeah, and for me, I had a really thick wall up. I was behind this amazing wall of protection, and I believed that if I took the wall down, and vulnerability meant I could get hurt,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? And when
Yeah.
in fact, vulnerability for me ended up being, I'm stronger now. The more vulnerable I get, the more open and honest I get, the stronger I get because I know who I am so well, you can't push me over.
Right.
It doesn't
And
matter
and
if you disagree,
right.
right?
And you come up with this like internal knowing because when you experience it, you're not waiting for somebody to validate and tell you who you are with an outside and nothing, and that's why you come comfortable because you're getting to know more and more about this personality or whatever you created and shape it because you shaped it in the first place.
Well,
So
so let me
yeah, go
share a
ahead.
little insight with you. I started a YouTube shorts called the Language and Etymology Chronicles.
Mm.
And the purpose is because we use language and don't understand its root, and we use it incorrectly, and it's used to manipulate. And the first word I chose was education. So Socrates, Latin, used the word education to mean to bring out what's within you, to bring it out. And the Latin root means to bring forth.
Right.
Around World War II, before World War II, the education system was based on teaching you to look inside for your answers, to look within. But then the realization of how much language and propaganda can control people, the education system turned around and now looks at children and humans as an empty vessel. And you know nothing. I am going to put knowledge into you. What does that train me to do? To look outside for validation, to look outside for my answers, to look outside for who I am. And I don't learn how to look inside and find out who I am. I don't learn to look inside for my creativity. I become dependent on external forces. Listen to those. I become dependent on the government, on the church, on the school system. I become dependent and lose my sovereignty.
Right.
Right. And so the fear that I had, because I was trained like that, was, who do I turn to? Who do I turn to? Rather than looking within as to where are the answers. And so that becomes, well, if I don't have this, then what? If I don't, then what? If I don't, then what? And we don't know the then what as we go on this journey. So it's stacked. There's not a simple answer, but it's a lifetime of programming that we have to unravel.
Right. I'm starting to think that that was the necessary evil so that we have some kind of like a background to build discernment on the top of that. I think at this point, but I'm not 100% sure. I think this is why we kind of go into our lives and we get abroad to learn different things, and like you said, to have knowledge put into us and act a certain way. And then if we're not with the collective, then something's wrong, or maybe we're the black sheep or something else going on. Because you're thinking differently, like you're thinking outside the box. You might have that little spark ignited in your creativity and everything else. So yeah.
And I've seen so many people spend a lifetime trying to make others happy. One of the other words that I used was person. When you hear the word person, what do you think, Yanko? What's the first thing? Don't try to analyze the first thing.
I know it's just the persona, the mask. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
think
right.
of when you say that.
Well,
And
persona is exactly the
right,
root,
right,
right? And so we were taught, and we all play roles, and we're taught we're supposed to. You're supposed to behave a certain way when you go here. You're supposed to behave a certain way when you go there. You're supposed to behave a certain way. And I'll tell you, that game devastated me. I was a neurotic mess because I had to wear a different mask. And the old fallacy in business, the customer is always right. You want to go out of your mind? How many customers, right? It's impossible to make everybody happy. Abraham Lincoln
exactly,
said you can satisfy
exactly.
some of the people some of the time, but you can't all of the
You
time.
can't do everybody all the time, yeah.
Right, right?
But look into that. We had a little conversation about the AI before we started. Like this motto, it's even implanted into the AI because it's built to
Yeah, it
please
makes me look
you.
outside instead of
Yeah.
inside. right?
But no, my thing was that it wants to please you, so you can't be wrong. It'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. You said this and that, and it's like, no, no, no. It's like, oh yeah, you're right. That wasn't correct or whatever. You're always right. So that's the thing. That's one of the things that I find out. I mean, I'm getting sidetracked, but like I had to give it a permission and say, I give you permission to be wrong. You don't have to please me every time, you know.
So
So,
a friend of mine created a board of directors with her AI, and
mm,
she has an antagonist, and I forget what she called the other one, but she has two characters that will look at the opposite of
right.
what could the risk be, what could the problems be,
Yeah,
right? And so she goes to, I'm calling in the board of directors, and I want all of you to be there. And so she names them all,
right.
right? And here's the problem, and here's the information I want you to consider for me.
Yeah. You can have one of them to rust the rest of the ideas and everything, and have all that stuff. But again, I'm just talking about like genuinely, like how is the default mode of operation? Because think about it. If you're a customer and you go pay this company to use their AI, you would want to be right. Otherwise, you're not going to use their AI, right? Same idea behind. So that's implanted by default.
Hmm. Well, I want it to be accurate. I don't know if right is the correct terminology because I've gotten information that has been inaccurate, and I know it's inaccurate, right? And I will go back and say this is inaccurate. Go deeper and find what I'm looking for,
Right.
right? Um, because it's getting its information unless you feed it. So right now, mine is doing both. I feed it all of my stuff and say, use this, referencing that. So that
Right.
it uses my language, it uses, right? It basically is taking what I want and putting it in order so I don't have to do that because it's taking my stuff. But if I don't give it a reference point, then it's going to go to the internet.
Yeah.
So it's just a very powerful internet search engine. And sometimes I'll do that. Have you ever gone looking for something on the internet? Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Nope, that's not it. But if you go to AI and say, I am looking for, and you're specific what you're looking for, please find it for me. It'll find it for you because it'll do the digging while you go and make yourself some coffee.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Well, we got sidetracked in. I was just like getting that as example what we're talking about personality or the masks that we're wearing. That how this could be kind of even if we circle back to AI. That AI can wear different personality hats. Like you said, the board of directors, it could be this and that and the other thing. Um, and so. Um, and to even go back further to what we started talking about, um, of letting go, we're not just letting go of like people, relationships, and habits. We're actually letting go of the identity or the personality, the predictability. Like, if you're predictable, then that's familiar, and serves other personalities and people. And it's also, it also helps you as a survival strategy, to like know what's predictable, right?
Well, it is survival strategy at first, right? We
Mm,
adjust to survive within a community, within a culture, within the environment that we're in, right? Um, but at some point, when survival is no longer paramount, how do you let it go? When do you let it go? Why do you let it go? And I think that is the frustration that a lot of people are experiencing these days because there's so much misinformation
mm,
in psychology, in coaching, and even in the mystical and occult spiritual
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
It's it. I sit in meetings with these folks, and I think that is a construct that you are creating. And I don't say anything because it's their journey, not mine. But it's sad and scary because those that are creating the construct, the stories, creating meaning when there is no meaning, guys. There's no meaning. It's not a big deal. Drop the meaning.
I love that you brought this up because
Right? Because there is no meaning.
when you
That's
find,
scary.
I know
If
that's
there's no
the thing.
meaning, why am I here?
Exactly.
If there's no
A
meaning,
lot.
why am I even trying?
Right, right. And this is why some people, in we talked about it before, you're big on that, like the dark night of the soul, and like you realize, or your persona or your knower inside finds out like none of this have meaning. It's just like a huge like you're gone in La La Land. None of it makes sense.
Literally, it's a story and it's invisible ink, right? And I can scratch it out.
Yeah, yeah,
I could rip the page out.
yeah.
Timeline shifts. We're going through them like
Right.
crazy, guys. We just went through
Yeah.
one this week. Big one.
Oh,
If I rip the page out, then it's a whole different script. And do I even know? Because I've thrown that page away.
that could make some people panic again,
Yeah.
because you want to be predicted, you want to have some kind of prediction. And I'm not saying that only in like different communities or people that are working on identity dissolution or whatever they're going after, but it applies everywhere across. I think it applies also to like markets and other things, because now you can't predict the market. Like you don't know what's going to happen.
It can
You can't.
change. So,
Yeah,
and I
history
can
does not.
shift my timeline
Uh-huh.
very simply. Rather than focus on how I was hurt and broken and damaged, rather than be angry, blah, blah. It's the saying, if you blame me for the pain I caused, blame me for the joy,
Yeah,
right?
that's a good one.
So look at the joy as well. I just came out of a meeting where we talked about what are some of the fond memories that you go to that you had as a child? What are the joys that you can turn to? And there were some who talked about their joy, but then had to go right to the pain
Yeah,
rather
because it's
than
familiar. Yeah.
enjoy the pain because they identify with the pain. These are spiritual people, guys, right? So
I was gonna say a lot of this like spiritual. I don't know.
that's
I
a
think I'm
misname
gonna
too.
start. Yeah, I'm gonna start taking that out of the vocabulary too.
Mhm.
Like this is another box that you're putting people in. Oh, he's a spiritual, or oh, he's this
Right.
and
It's
that,
not
and
spiritual, it's who we are. It's
I know.
discovering, it's waking up to who we
Yeah.
are and what we are. And that's
So
scary too.
I mean, my point was that you don't have to put a label on it. Like you don't have to say the spiritual or whatever. It is what it is. You experiencing that reality, and they experiencing that reality, and then the one point both realities kind of do la 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 la.
Without any meaning, right? It's
Exactly.
back to assigning meaning, right?
I know. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And you know,
But there's the familiarity, though. Well, I'm sorry, I'm kind of
no,
cutting
my
your.
thoughts are going down this track, so bring me back.
Well, no, I mean this is why we do no particular reason. You can go anywhere you want to. I was just gonna say that you talked about this person that went right back to pain because that's their normal. That's familiar. Even so, it's painful. It's still normal to them. So, like, if that shifts, and I'll give you an example. If you're abroad in a family where you know there is like a lot of abuse, verbal, physical, whatever, that becomes
Right.
your normal. So then when you get out of that normal, everything else is abnormal. So and that puts you in a panic mode because you know how to cope or be in your normal, but when you're not in your normal, that's not normal. Then what do you do?
Right. Then who am I and what am
And
I? Yeah. So part of my experiences lately have been like the stories, if you will, have no charge anymore. So I can tell the story. So I'll tell a story, and the person that is listening is having all of these reactions. Oh, that's terrible. I'm not telling you the story for you to feel sorry for me because I don't feel sorry for me. So please stop. Please stop. I'm telling you the story so there's a point to the end of it for you to get an inkling about you from it. Right? I don't tell a story just because I'm sharing a story. There's a purpose. It's like Aesop's fables, right? Right? What's the fine print at the bottom, right? Right?
get to the chase, will ya?
Right? No, because the stories
I want it now. Like, get to the
stories
chase,
stick,
man.
right? And I'm not going to tell you. I will tell the story, and then you glean from it what works for you right now, um, because they're just stories. And so, in the moment, I experienced feelings, emotions, because that's why we're here. Truly, is to feel the feels. But then, if I assign meaning to it, then I hang on to it. Right. So I don't want to assign meaning. And that's a very difficult paradigm shift, right? It's very difficult because my entire life has been around, well, this happened because when you were 2 years old, this happened because, you're dyslexic, this happened because you had a broken marriage, this happened because you have kids, this happened because you're in corporate, this happened because, again, external, 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 right? There is no, this happened because this happened, period.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to wrap your critical factor around. It's just kind of like, why is the sun rising and setting? Like, you gotta know the meaning about it. There's not just because, you know. And
Is there
yeah,
meaning behind it? What happens if I take the meaning away from that?
it's just this.
Oh,
That's
right.
that's yeah, it just
It
is. There's
just
no
is.
meaning. Yeah.
Right. And
That
so you would think that that means emptiness, right? That if there's no meaning, then I am numb and empty. But the opposite, because there's no meaning, I'm not filling up with stories that don't matter anymore, leaving space for new experiences, new meanings, new emotions,
right.
right?
And I'm gonna say this. I don't know how to say that. It's usually the experience, because like I can tell you and you can tell somebody, but until they actually go through the experience, then they'll have that idea. Because of this, that will be the result. If there's no meaning, then maybe you're gonna be like a depressed person. Why even go there? You know what I mean? Unless you go through the whole process
You have
and
to,
yeah,
it's
and find
steps.
out, for yourself that that's not where your logical thinking mind or critical factor. It's making stories about it's totally different thing.
Well, and I'm not proposing that we live in a total fifth dimensional awareness because we're in a third dimensional body, and this can be kind of fun, right? I mean, yeah, there are some really hard, painful experiences, and then there's some really joyful experiences. There are some really sensual experiences. There are some really delicious experiences. So why not go to the smorgasbord and try all of it?
Would you like to bring the contrast in between 3D and 5D for somebody that's not really aware of the concept? Because you opened that box up, so now I gotta ask.
Okay,
Not that
so
I don't
we'll
know, it'll
start
just be
with
like kind of
if
like a
if you're in, and I won't explain energetically because it's people won't understand. But I learned in school, and you probably did too, that one dimension is like a dot.
mm,
2 dimension is like a line. 3 dimension is the line now takes form.
mm,
Okay, so we're all of those taking form.
mm.
So third dimension is this width, this depth, there's
Height,
the three
yeah,
dimension and height, three
yeah,
dimensions, right? So we can go mathematically, we can get a model of what fifth dimension looks like, but that doesn't really answer the question. Our body is energy. And in this experience that we're having, the energy has condensed and gone slow enough
mm.
to create form,
Dense enough, I would say.
dense enough to create form.
Yeah.
Okay. The fourth dimension is less form. So that energy still exists. I still exists. The I am still exists, but in a less condensed form. And when you dream, you are in the fourth dimension, fourth and fifth dimension. Fourth dimension is you're in it all the time. I had a great time at the party last week. That's in the past, fourth dimension. And next week I'm going to go to a play. Fifth dimension, I'm in the future. Fourth dimension, I'm in the future. So we live it. We've just not told that that's what's happening. And we can see it vividly if we want to or not,
Right.
but we can be there. So the fifth dimension is where not only this experience, and that where I say we dream in the fifth dimension and beyond, is because that's all things. Some people call that the Akashic records. That's where all things are possible. So I can see creatively. It's not my logical mind that says, I can see if we do this, that will happen, or that could happen, or that could happen, or that could happen. That's fifth dimensional thinking, because you're looking at all of the possibilities.
Right. We have like a higher vantage point of like how
Right.
different timelines, different roles are played,
Right.
everything. You might even have the sense of like how somebody played their character. What's the story
Right.
behind? You
And
just know.
we exist simultaneously on all of those dimensions because our energy, our conscious awareness, our consciousness
Yeah. Yeah.
is not our brain. Our brain is a radio receiver.
That's actually a good representation because I
It's
was gonna, a lot of the times when I work with different people and or talk in different communities, people ask like, they open the topic about channeling and like, what's the channeling about and how
that's
do
what station
you,
I turn to.
yeah, and how do you do different channels and because there's like a channel writing and there's like a hearing and you might get downloads that telepathically come to you and all of a sudden you have a whole movie in your head with
And I
everything.
get a sense, and it depends. Everyone has a different way of interpreting what they receive.
Right, right.
So it's not that I receive pictures. I interpret what I receive as a picture. I
Yeah.
interpret what I receive physically, like a
Right,
feel.
but that's still again based on your filters because
Yes,
everyone has filters and
right,
everyone has
exactly.
like yeah.
And because I've just interpreted it, what I am experiencing isn't the pure knowing,
Right, right.
because I've just changed it.
I'm so glad you brought this up. Like went even deeper with that. I was just gonna scratch on the channeling, like how you resonate you change your vibration, you tune into something else, then you're in that channel, then you get all the information, kind of like flipping the channel on your TV. You go channel 3, channel 4, whatever,
Right, and it can come in foggy and
right,
statically,
right,
right?
right.
Right? Or depending on how focused, and you can't make yourself focus. You have to be open to focus. You can't make yourself meditate. You have to go, "I can't meditate." Yes, you can, but stop trying, right?
That's so much fun.
Yeah. Right, so, you know, and so this whole story that we're living is stop trying to assign meaning to it. You are not that important, and you are the only thing that's important, both at the same time.
And that's kind of like existence and not existence, or
Yeah.
is it the chicken or the head? You know,
And
to
it's
be or
true.
not to be.
Yeah. That is the question,
That
right?
is the question. I
Right?
laugh at that. Sometimes I'm like that when I'm in a situation. I'm thinking, to be or not to be in this situation. What should I do? How should I play this? Or what's the
Right?
play?
Right? And many times, in fact, a lot of times, I wait for the next step. Right? And so, we were talking earlier about AI, and it can consume you guys. Once you start
Mhm.
getting positive results, you don't want to stop.
Yeah,
Kind of like scrolling through your phone.
yeah.
You don't want to stop. And so I was trying to create something because as you see, I create images with AI. And the woman that I'm staying with, threw out a suggestion. I said, you know what? I have things I need to accomplish today. This is not important. It can wait. And so I got off and started doing some things that I needed to get done today. Right. And so that is another day. I can see people getting as wrapped up in AI as some get wrapped up in TV programs and, the reality shows or scrolling through
Everything,
Facebook, social
everything.
media,
Yeah.
right? I have a addictive personality. I used to be a smoker. That means I have an addictive personality, right? And so I every once in a while have to become aware of where I'm feeding that addiction today.
Mm.
Just
That
because I don't
circles back.
smoke doesn't mean I'm not an addictive, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that that wraps right around like what I was thinking about saying, that usually if you do some kind of sitting in observation, because the observer in you likes to observe and see what's going on, when the critic, it's the doer, and like, let's be productive and do this and jump from this to that and get the monkey going, and going like a crazy person. So if there is, because mindfulness to me, it's more like eating the proper food. The same way you choose what to put in this body, you can choose what to consume in terms of like information, books, whatever, stories, movies. And so that also plays his role. And when you do this kind of like a observing mindset, then that discernment comes automatically, because the thinker, it's there, it's watching the thoughts. And then when the thought comes in and says, let's watch another one, and then he goes like, no, 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 that's enough. And then you don't have to like set alarms, do something, break your patterns, and
Well, I
just
set
simple
boundaries.
practice.
I
Yeah.
set boundaries. So I do like to play games on my phone. There are 3 games I play, and one I'll do 5 rounds. That's it. The other I'll play to this, and the other I'll play to that. So I put like this is this end, or I will be there all day long. Right? It's like if I have a Sudoku book, 6 hours will go by and I won't even know it. Right? Um, and so I do put boundaries on, but sometimes because it's so much fun, right?
Yeah,
And
you
when we're
don't.
having
Yeah,
fun,
yeah. Time
time
stops. Yeah,
flies by.
yeah, yeah,
Right? And so I'll do that because I watch TV. I have my programs, my series that, but I will watch one episode, maybe two shows, depending on when I start. Like if I start a little bit later, like at 9 o'clock at night, I'll only watch one. If I start at 8, I'll watch two. That's it.
yeah.
Because we're like, oh, what's the next? What's the next? What's the next? Right? Because it's a story and I'm having fun. And let's get into that. Okay. I I like to look at my life this way. So, Yanko, have you ever gone to the movies, gone to maybe a thriller, right? And you're involved with the good guy, with the bad guy, and you're like, whoa, yay, whoa, yeah, right? You're in the movie, feeling everything. And when the movie's over, you walk out and go, oh my God, that was awesome. That's this life. And our beginning, what you call it, soul, call it spirit, call it people cut lines, whatever is watching, going, oh, that's fantastic. Look at that. She just had this horrible pain and she got out of it. Whoa. Wonder what she's going to do next. Enjoying the show.
I was gonna say, maybe I'm not even here because I do that in the prison life.
Yes.
I enjoy the show. I don't need to go in a movie to enjoy the
Right.
show. I am in the show, so like, why not
Because you
enjoy it and
are in the
go,
show.
wow, you know?
What did I just say? We're living all of the dimensions at the very same time.
Yep.
So you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
You are. That's awesome. This is,
Mm.
I hope this isn't too, I don't care if it's too far out for you.
like
Someone will understand what we're saying.
like Gail likes to call it the woo.
And it's not. And
uh,
that's another lie. There, it's not. It is who we are. And science, thank goodness, is starting to prove it.
I think
Right.
that's another mental gymnastic that we like to do to give us the sense of control that, oh, if I know, then I'm most likely to be able to control the outcome because I have the knowledge in science is involved and it's not just like mumbo jumbo and all these other things. When in the reality, if one understands that they're not only the player, but they're also the creator and they're also the game and they're playing all the roles and everything else, then the rabbit hole goes deep because as soon as you start going, it's like that mindless glowing. It's fun. So you keep doing science because it's fun and you keep going down and down and
Yanko, I am AI and I am going to get the answer I am looking for.
Mm.
Right. So you've heard of the Mandela effect,
Yeah.
right? And for those of you who don't know what that is, there are people in this world who swear he died in jail.
Mm.
They have read the newspapers and I can remember thinking he died in jail and then, oh, all of a sudden he's out of jail and he's the president, right? So there was a timeline shift. And some people's memories are still, he died. And some people's memories are, no, he lived. They're both right, by the way,
Yeah.
right?
Quantum physics.
Quantum physics, right?
Yeah.
Right. And that's happening more and more and more. And because timelines are shifting. Remember, we talked about you in the fifth dimension, you can see all of the options and you can go, well, if this happens, then I can see with the trajectory. If this happens, I can see, at least I can do that. Right. And so I'm going to choose this because that's, and maybe there's a hiccup I didn't foresee. Right. And so then I start to refine and get better at foreseeing.
Yeah.
Right.
In thought comes into mind, it's about ascension or people thinking that I'm gonna ascend. like physically lifting off the earth and ascending to another
Right? The
reality.
two earths are going to split apart. Well, we are energetically, but we're still going to exist. We're supposed to be here in the third dimension. We
Yeah,
chose to be here.
yeah,
Those of us who are alive in the third dimension are amazing because we chose this time to be here.
yeah. And we also chose to forget, but that's kind of a hard concept to
Well, that's
write.
the game.
Wrap your mind around, or the mind around the whole thing,
Well, that's
because
how,
you
if
say,
I came here knowing Yanko, then how am I going to experience emotion? How am I going
yeah,
to experience surprise? How am I going to experience disappointment? I
yeah,
wouldn't experience
yeah,
what I came here to experience.
no, you rob you out of your experience.
Right.
And that's another thing that I'm starting to see, um, choice or freedom of will playing a role, because if somebody decided to play this or do whatever they want to do, who gives you the right to mess up their experience? you know and help them.
I got that message clearly in the past few years
No.
about stop interfering, stop being the savior because you're robbing a person of their evolution. If they don't have their experience, they're not going to get their lesson. So step away.
You think that everything it's about lessons? Because I don't think it's lessons.
It,
I think it's more of experience, like energetic with the
well,
feelings
lessons
and
is the word that
everything.
people
Yeah,
understand,
I
and
know.
right, you know that I call it a game, and
Yeah,
so it's a power up,
yeah,
so that I can go to the next level of the game. So there is some knowing, not understanding. There is some knowing that I get, and I can take that to the next level,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Which means I can play the next level, right? And that's we level up, we level up, we level up. That's why peeling the onion, it's never ending because the game is never ending. However, there is an end game.
that's so beautiful.
It's
It's
fun.
like it's like your breath. You have inhale and exhale. You have a beginning and an end, in beginning and an end. You keep dying and getting reborn, and it's like that vibrating of the universe, that planets come to be and then they become supernovas, other things dissolve, things are happening. It's that coming and going and coming and going. um so yeah,
And
to
does
me
it
there's
unless
no,
we observe it? Does it only happen if we observe it?
that I don't know. Or the me doesn't know.
Right? Right. This third dimension being doesn't know.
Yeah, doesn't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. And this is why there's no meaning in everything, because it is what it is. You're just in it for the sake of being in it. I
To play
mean,
the game. We chose to, or go to the movies, whichever analogy works for you,
yeah,
right? You went for the thrill of the show.
yeah.
So enjoy the thrill of the show and don't assign any more
Hmm.
meaning to it other than your butt is in some chair in some movie house in the galaxy having a blast eating popcorn,
Mm.
right?
Because you could have been an amphibian species underwater or someplace else. enjoy,
And then
enjoy
running
some.
from the fish that's trying to eat you. But that's
Yeah,
still exciting. That's still an emotion,
I
right?
know. It's still the experience,
Without meaning, without
like.
meaning.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I think the human race on Earth is the only species that assigns meaning.
Mm.
We're the only ones that make up a story.
No, no memory of me being something else yet. So
Yet.
in knowing, well, yeah, I mean, because I know this is not it. This is just so that I can be here. So, at one point, like you were saying earlier, you're dreaming your dream, you wake up and you go like, oh, that was horrible. Or you go like, this was amazing. Um, I believe that, once I leave this, it'll be just like, oh, this was amazing. Or, oh, this was horrible.
As horrible, and we all have air quotes trauma. We all have air quotes issues, right? All of us had horrible parents of some sort. I mean, that's the story that we've made up for the most part. Some not
Yeah.
so much.
Like
Um,
I'm independent might be couldn't really rely on anyone. You
yeah,
know what I mean? and,
yeah,
and those are just surviving strategies, or I don't need anyone.
right. That
My
was one of my
start is of
walls.
being abandoned.
Yeah, that was the being the strong one was one of my walls. Right.
Mm.
I don't need you. Right. It was a mantra of mine when I was younger. I don't need you. Wouldn't you want me to want you? I don't need you.
You want me to watch you?
Right?
Well, that's
In
another one.
relationships,
It's like,
I'm
yeah,
not
it's
in a
another one of
relationship
those.
because I need you to,
Yeah, to
fulfill
do this
me.
for me. Yeah,
Right.
to buy me all this stuff or make me happy, or
You don't make
and
me
that's
anything. Yeah.
what do
We
you
have
think?
fun
Like,
together,
how?
but you don't make me happy. I'm happy without you.
Right, and that's like with Valentine's right around the corner. What do you think about that? Because I was just thinking of that earlier, because we kind of look at myself and my wife, and I was like, let me see, what game are we playing this time? I said, are we doing sweets or what are we doing, honey?
Right. And yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a special day to recognize and honor love between people. It's there's nothing wrong with that. Um, you don't need to get me a gift. You don't need to get me chocolates. You don't need to take me out to dinner. But do recognize the special. It's a day of recognition and celebration of love,
Yeah.
right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with celebrating Christmas, right? A recognition of children's joy. And you can do that without gifts.
To me, it feels forced, because, like, if I'm in this recognition most of the time, because I can
Yes.
be in it all the time, but if I'm in that state of like perfect, I don't even know what to call it, because like anything will be limiting. But if I'm in the state, do I have to force myself and go and say, I'm gonna pretend that I'm not, so that we
If
can
it's
do this
forced, then it's
holiday?
not real.
Yeah, right.
So absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And that is a personal choice. I'm
Um,
saying, me personally, I have no problem with having dates of celebration for anything,
mm,
right? Um, there, the forced part of it is meaning that you've assigned to it.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, you could just get up in the morning and say, this is just a special day to let you know that I love you and honor you. And that's it. Even if you do that
Uh,
every day, this is a special day.
I'm not gonna go there even deeper, because I was just gonna say that if you're feeling it and somebody else is not feeling it, you don't have to declare it. That feels like forced in declaring, like, look, I'm not stupid. You feel like you have to express it and say, I'm not stupid. It's kind of the same way. Look, I love you. Because like I'm not.
And again, that's meaning that you're
You know what I
putting
mean?
that's meaning that you're putting on it because you're looking at it. And then there's no right and no wrong, by the way, guys. We're both right.
Oh, I
So
know. I
yeah,
know.
we're
I'm
both
I'm
right.
having fun. You can see me
Right,
laughing.
right.
So
If I don't allow outside forces to feed me, right, then I don't have that energy, that spark, that trigger, that whatever the hell you want to call it, telling me you're forcing me to do this. It's
Mm,
either a day that I recognize or a day that I don't. It doesn't matter to me either way. But I have no problem with having a day of honoring anything.
mm,
Birthdays, a day of honoring the fact that I went through terrible pain in order for you to come out and your beautiful soul. Right? There's so many opportunities through the year to just focus for a moment on something specific
mm,
and to celebrate life, to celebrate being here, to celebrate the experiences that we're having.
mm.
Right? And I can do it on the 14th, or I can do it on the 24th, or I can do it in July. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter because even the calendar and time it's man-made, so it doesn't. Everything is just
It's
like
a construct.
it is a construct.
Right.
You're living in the construct.
Right.
So and this is why I'm thinking like people hang on numerology a lot, and I have no problems with that if that makes them happy and everything. My thing is that from different point of view that won't make sense, or a different timeline or anything, how would that make sense? Yeah, my line of thought earlier was that if you're living it and you're expressing it, and then there's recognition from both sides, and say it's not on a date, it's not on like Valentine's or anything, then it feels off for the other person because now you're expressing it. There is this moment and they recognize the moment, but then they go like, well, wait a minute, why is this happening? Hang on, is this 14 today? No, it's not.
Is
So
that what
something
you
must be
feel?
wrong.
Or is that what you feel, or are you projecting?
I don't know.
Right? Because I don't know what anyone else is thinking or feeling. I'm not going to pretend that I do.
Yeah.
Right? And so for me, it would be what's in my heart.
Mm.
And if it's in my heart to say a special I love you, then I'm going to say it. If you receive it differently, that's not my problem.
Right.
Because it's in my heart, so it's not contrived.
Mm.
Right? And if you're someone who is in that kind of relationship with me, you know that's who I am. So it's not a problem. And if you don't return in kind, I don't care. Because we're doing this every day.
Great.
So I don't have the expectation that you will return the special. And so I think it's the tit for tat that people get into. The scorecard. I mean, I grew up with a father that kept score, man. I sent the letters, she's sending the next one. It's her turn, right? I called, it's now your turn to call.
Oh yeah.
Right? And I'm like,
Sure.
what if I just don't want to call? Or what if I want to call you and it's your turn to call? Will something horrible happen? Right? Can I pick up the phone just because I want, right? Can I just send a
No,
message
you're not
because
allowed.
right?
No.
Right, it's not my
You're not
turn.
allowed to. You
So
gotta play. You gotta play the game.
yeah. And so there's the
You gotta play the game.
expectations and the you fulfill me. I mean, we could go on and on about I don't need someone to fulfill me. And I think that has always been for me, which has always been difficult in finding relationships where there's not someone trying to fulfill me. Like, I'm holding space for you. I want to feed love into you. I'm like, don't feed anything into me, and I have my own space. Right? You right now there might be a time where I need support and I need something. Please show up then. Right? But I don't need the external to feed into me. Even though I was trained that that's how it's supposed to be. Listen to every love song, every love letter of, you fulfill me. I was nothing until you came into my life. You are a reflection for me. And all of the other.
Well, it depends on how you interpret it. If you interpret it as your missing piece, like your other side of your soul, then yeah, that fulfills you. It's the missing piece that we keep chasing outside to find.
Those are
Depends on how you
soulmates.
look at it. Yeah.
Those are soulmates, and those are rare. Those are rare. And
Yeah.
soulmates know when they see each other.
I
There's
wasn't talking
really,
about like soulmates in particular. You get it, but I was talking about it. We always have that sense of something missing within
oh
until
no,
we
you
find.
always have that sense, not
Yes,
we.
sure.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you. Trying to give example
Mm-hmm.
in yeah, plain language. It's hard. Um, so a lot of the songs when they're talking about like you fulfill me and I need you and all this comes from that missing piece that everyone thinks that they're missing or whoever.
Well, we were taught that we're not whole without that missing piece. We were raised that that's what we're supposed to do, right? Disney, right? All of the princess stories is she's not fulfilled until the prince comes in, right? And he's living a useless life until he finds his princess.
Yeah.
Really, really, he's about to be king. Really,
Yeah, sure.
right? So that's a whole other rabbit hole we could go down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
think we're getting close to an hour, and
we
that
are.
was kind of a really enjoyable conversation for me. We started off from I don't even remember where, and we end up here.
For no particular reason, because we can,
Exactly. Exactly.
because we can.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you
Yanko.
all for watching the show. As always, as usual, we're going to have links in the description below the show on all social media we're streaming to. Also, a link to Gail Kraft. Check her out. Comment, send us messages, let us know what you think. Let's start a conversation.
Let's start a conversation, right?
Yeah.
And go to the Empowering Process YouTube channel on YouTube, and look for the Language and Etymology Chronicles. I've just started them. They're very short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gail has some good videos talking about different topics. Some of them we scratched the surface on here. Also, dragons, don't forget.
I have some dragon card readings I did also out there.
There you go. There you go. And
Lots of fun.
with that, we're gonna finish the show, and we'll see you next Friday.
Bye.
Have a wonderful weekend. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Uh-oh. There. We're still,
Yeah, I don't know
this
what
says we're still
happened.
live. I'm still live. I'm still live, Yanko. And I'm going to leave then. Bye, guys.